Hey guys, my name is Shai and this is Evermind Astro. This video is about the natal moon in Capricorn, specifically about the emotional processing for natal moon in Capricorn. This might also resonate if you've got your moon in the 10th house or if you've got Saturn somehow involved with your moon, right? It's that kind of vibes here. So, moon in Capricorn is very interesting because of course the moon is in domicile in Cancer, so when the moon is in Capricorn, that puts the moon in exile. So you have your moon in exile, which is a very kind of strange place to be because the moon is your internal space and your emotions, and it puts that in exile. Now that's not a bad thing. That word exile, it might seem negative, and sometimes when you look it up online, you'll get a lot of negative connotations there, but in my mind, it just makes it more interesting. It gives this a different type of growth process. That's literally what I'm hearing with this, a different growth process. I'm not even entirely sure what that means, but maybe that means something to someone. And now I'm seeing a great big old tree growing and growing and growing, but this particular tree grows in a different pattern. It grows in a different way. It follows a different growth pattern. So, have you ever seen a tree that grew in a different way? Perhaps it split in half and grew two trunks out of one base, or perhaps it was really bent by the wind and it has a big curve at the bottom before it straightens up, or perhaps it grows around another tree or grows around some kind of obstacle. So all kinds of different ways that a tree could follow a different pattern of growth. So that's really interesting. And that's just right here, right now. I never thought about that before. But the guides want you to think about that, about how Moon in Capricorn has a bit of a different growth pattern for your, even perhaps for your emotional maturity, how you understand your emotions, how you feel your emotions, and how you even do your introspection, and if what introspection even means for you. It's going to be your internal space is quite different. Okay, it's quite different. And that is interesting for Capricorn, right? Because people might see, oh, hey, moon in Capricorn, and then they start spouting off some of that very tired and stereotypical stuff about Capricorn, about how Capricorn is, they're very traditional and they're very into hard work and they're very into, being the head of the household and that kind of stuff. And it's all about, business and kind of building a legacy and career. And of course, those things, it's not that those things are entirely wrong. Those are definitely elements of Capricorn, but honestly, a lot of those things that I just mentioned are some of the least interesting aspects of Capricorn. They're part of what's in the bag, right? But they're not really what is necessarily going to vibe with you so much, especially with your moon in Capricorn, right? Your moon in Capricorn, you're following a different type of growth pattern. So right here, I would say that if your life has looked unusual, if you have not followed a very traditional path, and that could actually give you some big weirdness about understanding. You get into astrology, you look at, oh, my moon's in Capricorn, that means I should be very serious and traditional, and I should just be following the straight and narrow type of path and the logical pathway through life. I don't think that's gonna fit for a lot of Capricorn, like moons in Capricorn, right? Maybe for some, of course, but for many, perhaps not, right? Perhaps not, because you're combining all of that stereotypical stuff about Capricorn with the emotional waters of the moon and the tides of the moon, right? So your growth pattern, it's like you have to grow and you solidify and crystallize almost like around your own inner tides. Your own inner tides, the tides of your own emotions, the tides of your own perfect timing, right? That affects your path of growth, affects your path of growth. So, okay, as you are growing and you're growing in your own unique way, how are you processing your emotions? How are you doing that? And again, there's a feeling here that, especially perhaps for younger Capricorn moons, perhaps emotional processing and introspecting and doing your feelings, perhaps that's not really a priority or not something you're super comfortable with, right? I do happen to know some Capricorn moons, and especially when they were younger, they really avoided their emotions. Just they didn't want to deal with them. They didn't want to look at them. They wanted to avoid them, and they would distract themselves with tasks, right? With doing something. And of course, there does come a time in everyone's life where you kind of have to look within and feel your feelings and realize what you're feeling and why you're feeling it and all of that. But, that'll happen for you when it happens for you, and that's fine. What I want to focus on more is this whole kind of instinct that some Capricorn moons might have to work through their emotions by doing something. That can actually be a really helpful, really beneficial thing, as long as it's not abjectly avoiding your emotions, as long as it's not, being too avoidant. You can use this really constructively and creatively. And now, I mean, it depends on you, it depends on the rest of your chart, and depends on your moon is placed, and blah, 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 right? But I would say there's more of an emphasis here on creating something big, building up something big, right? Because with Capricorn, it's not quite as simple as, with Aries, it would be, okay, just like go for a run, right? Do something physical, that'll work you through your emotions. With Taurus, it could be, okay, I'm just going to sit here and like dig a big hole. And I say that because I've seen Taurans just dig holes or just lay bricks, right? Kind of simple, or not even necessarily simple, right? But kind of straightforward tasks where they're just building a thing right in front of them, and then they build it and it's kind of done. It's like a one and done type of thing, or something that they can finish in a few hours to a few days, right? And Virgo might like to build a model airplane, right? Do something very focused, right? Something very focused that they can focus on and absorb themselves, like be absorbed into. And Capricorn, I mean, some of those things might hit for you, but with Capricorn, it's likely going to be beneficial for you to put all of your emotional energy into something much bigger, into something where you're kind of creating a legacy. And this is where we get into why Capricorn is often associated with business and, creating generational wealth and that kind of stuff. And because that's just an easy way to kind of explain this energy. It says it doesn't necessarily have to be business, and it doesn't need to involve money in any way, shape, or form. But that is the kind of way that Capricorn applies its creativity. I would actually say that Capricorn, especially moon in Capricorn, okay? Especially when the moon is in Capricorn, that is applied creativity. And with Capricorn, of course, there is this element of it's the long term. Capricorn sees forever. It plans for the future, right? And it wants to build something that lasts and that can sit in the world and be useful and functional and provide value into the future. So what is that for you, right? What could you put your energy into that you are slowly but surely building something up over the very long term, something that can stand the test of time, something that will be there when you're gone, and something that will, continue to exist, and especially if it is useful in some way, right? Especially if it is useful in some way. So that could be a business for sure. That could be your family, right? That's why, especially with the moon in Capricorn, I think that the family element can be important to some, right? Can be important to some, taking care of the family in however it is that you take care of your family, right? Whether that's homemaking or providing finances and resources, right? Whichever way that goes for you, it is providing for the family and creating your family because, your descendants will live on, right? And that is a creative process. But there's a big potential here for the Capricorn moons to be getting creative, especially you guys who are listening to this, right? If you're interested in astrology, you're interested in your own personal spirituality, and you probably have some kind of creative interest, right? That's how it kind of goes. All those things go hand in hand. So where do your creative interests lie? What do you like to build? And this is something that should really, really make you happy, and it should light you up, and it should satisfy your soul. That's how you know. Because with Capricorn, you could get kind of distracted and you could get into, okay, I'm going to focus on what's going to make me money, or I'm going to focus on something that is very kind of pragmatic, or I'm going to focus on this because I think it'll work, right? You can get kind of caught up on that. And those are really, really good things. That's what can make, that's what can allow you to make something that actually functions and that actually exists. That's what can help you succeed. So it's not that you want to ignore those, but those considerations, those kind of pragmatic considerations don't use those to make your decision, right? Especially you got to tune into your inner space. You got to use your moon, right? Figure out what lights you up and what satisfies your soul. What could you sit down and work at consistently? It doesn't have to be every single day, right? It could even just be once a week, once a month even. It depends what it is. What can you work on consistently over years? Years, okay? Years and years and years. What can you put your energy into over years and years and years? And you will find, and like as you're sitting down to work on this thing, whether it's writing or painting or music or game development or running a business or some kind of social thing where you're interacting with people and creating something that will benefit other humans or animals or the environment. It's like whatever this thing is that you can just pour your energy into, you'll know that's the thing for you when you actually feel more calm and more tranquil, and like you are using all of that emotional energy, right? That you're using that emotional energy and turning it into something, building something with it, because all of that emotional energy inside of you, especially with your moon in Capricorn, it wants to be used, it wants to be grounded, it wants to be applied. And you can actually work through your emotions and do your emotional processing while you're building something. And this can really, really, really help you, especially if you have tendencies for like self-destruction, self-destructive tendencies. If when you're stressed or overwhelmed or just have all of those emotions inside, right? When you have emotional turbulence, that's the thing, right? Capricorn is not usually associated with emotional turbulence, but moon in Capricorn can be emotionally turbulent. There is an element of turbulence here, okay? It can be, especially when you're younger, or especially when, life is being life and there's a lot going on, and there can be emotional turbulence. So you want to be able to use that and turn it into something. It is the fuel in your furnace, okay? Your emotional turbulence is the fuel in your furnace. And that's how you transform your emotions, because it's almost too much to get into for this video, but I have a very particular view about Capricorn energy, and I see it as a transformative energy. It is cardinal earth energy. The cardinal signs, they are transformative signs, right? They're not fixed. They're not the fixed signs where, they're not, the fixed signs stay the same. They are meant to be fixed and static, right? The mutable signs are in constant fluctuation, constant motion. That's where things go to be broken down and mixed around and alchemized and then sent on their way, right? Constantly shifting and changing. The cardinal signs, that's kind of the sweet spot in between where there is some flexibility in order to create something, right? Flexibility to create something. So Capricorn in particular is this transformative energy. Just think how Capricorn is not the mountain goat. Capricorn is, in fact, the sea goat, right? Half fish or half sea creature that swims in the water and goes into the deepest, darkest depths, then arises from the water, transforms into the sea, into the mountain goat, and continues to climb all the way up to the tippity top of the mountain. So there, with Capricorn, there was always this element of self-transformation, and you can do that with your emotional state as well, where you take your emotional turbulence and you transform it into something else. And of course, so this can fuel something that you are building, but more to the point even is that on the other side of your emotional turbulence, once you go through the Capricorn transformative process, that's when you can enter this state of almost perfect emotional equilibrium. Equilibrium, right? I could come up with some other words there. I could almost call it tranquility, but that's not exactly the right word. I could call it clarity. That's not exactly the right word. The best word I can get is equilibrium, an emotional equilibrium where you feel even a little bit empty, like all of the turbulence has died down. All of the turbulence has died down, but the power is still there. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has even really been gained. It's this feeling of calm potential just beneath the surface. Okay, this calm potential just beneath the surface that you can tap into and use whenever you need to. But it's like almost like the ocean has been calmed, or the storm has been calmed, or after an earthquake, there is the calm in the earth, right? It is this feeling of equilibrium. That's the best word I can come up with. It even feels a little silent. It feels a little silent, especially after the emotional turbulence. Once all of that turbulent energy is used and poured into something, used as fuel, you come into this place of silence. Maybe that's an even better word for it. Emotional silence. Silence, right? So you can probably kind of grasp the feeling that I'm putting out there. You can kind of catch that vibe and you might have a better word for it, right? However you would describe that, it should be something like calm, silent, equilibrium, tranquility, evenness, evenness of steadiness, even. It is this feeling of settling into yourself and your emotions settling down and settling into something. And that is a really, really, really beautiful place for Capricorn moons to be. It is even the energy of, imagine like an old grandfather, right? Who is like this really beautiful, benevolent patriarch, right? A beautiful, benevolent patriarch, the kind of grandfather that we would all love to have. If you can just imagine your perfect ideal of the loving grandfather who is the patriarch, but only really because everyone loves and respects him so much, and because of his wisdom and his knowledge, and perhaps because of what he has provided to the family, right? But as the patriarch, he doesn't really do much. He doesn't boss anybody around. He might intervene very rarely if it is some kind of situation that really, really, really requires his intervention. But for the most part, he's sitting there quietly in the corner watching the chaos and the love and the commotion and everything go all around him, right? And he is kind of sitting there in the corner being the steadiness, being the stability, being the rock in the turbulence. That, I think, is the image I would like to leave you with as some of the highest potential energy for your moon in Capricorn. And of course, since it's Capricorn energy, never forget that settling into that type of steadiness and creating whatever it is that you want to create with your emotional fuel, that can be the work of your entire lifetime, because with Capricorn, nothing is quick, nothing is fast, nothing is easy, but it is always, always, always so worth it in the end. Yeah, I'm feeling that so hard. It's so worth it in the end, guys. So I'm going to leave you there. I got lots of links down below if you want to check me out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.